"Oh, Christ!" Jack Delaney swore, turning from the corpse into his partner's arms, his face a strange, pale shade of green. He was a young cop, just turned 25, a good-looking fellow, 6 feet, with light brown eyes and sandy red hair.
"Let the rookie bad guys have a heart here,"
Sean Canady said, supporting his new partner for a moment.
"You gonna be all right?"
he asked quickly, the question low and spoken for only Jack to hear. For a brief moment, Jack leaned on Sean, the older cop, 2 inches taller than he, and at 40, a broad-shouldered, tautly muscled, impressive figure with ink-dark hair and sharp dark blue eyes. Sean usually kept a tight leash on his emotions, preferring to work out his frustrations at the gym. Jack inhaled quickly, glad of the break. He drew strength from Sean, nodded, and knew that the teasing he took from the other men would be light because Sean had supported him.
"I'm fine,"
Jack said. Sean nodded.
"Make way there, fellas. Delaney needs to start asking some questions in the neighborhood. Make sure we've got men combing these streets. Someone must have seen something,"
Sean said firmly, making sure that his partner made it through the rows of cops out in their rain gear circling the stretch of narrow roadway where the body had been found. The area was now all nicely roped off with yellow crime tape. Jack had arrived at the scene just moments before Sean had reached the corpse and turned away. Jack was new to homicide, only a few years on the force. A young Irishman turned over to Sean because, the captain had said, of his name. "Put the mix together," that had been Captain Daniels' comment. Sean didn't deny Irish roots. They were there somewhere. But the Irishman who had brought the Canady name to New Orleans had done so nearly 2 centuries ago, and Sean himself was a mixture of the many blends that made up the city. He had French blood, English, Cajun, and who knew, probably a little Caribbean mixed in there too. It didn't matter. Sean liked Jack Delaney, and knew that the captain liked him too, and that was why Jack had been assigned to Sean.
"Make way for the rookie,"
someone else called, and Jack was on through to the other side of the barricades. No matter what Jack had said, Sean was certain his partner was about to be sick.
"This was a tough one, kid,"
another fellow in uniform called out, and Sean was glad to see that the men were going to go easy on Jack. There really was no such thing as a good body after a murder. Still, some were worse than others. Sean strode on over to where Pierre Lapointe was bent over the body, intent on studying the corpse. He hunkered down beside the medical examiner, who was studying the corpse's fingers. He gave Pierre a brief nod of acknowledgement, then gave his attention to the corpse. Unlike Jack, he'd seen his share of dead bodies. Too many of them. Bodies bloated from the Mississippi, human bodies barely recognizable as such. The newly dead, the fresh kill, the form that bled into the pavement, as well as the corpse that had managed to remain hidden until the unbearable smell had brought it to light, and the corpse that had remained hidden so long that there was nothing left but bone. And still, there was something incredibly strange about this one. The man hadn't been dead long. Hell, he couldn't have been, not right off Bourbon Street like this. The business day had started. It was just past 9, so the man might have been killed just before daybreak. The homeless did sleep on the street, so in the darkness he might not have been noticed. Nor was he a mess. No blood streaked over the pavement, no brains spattering the wall of the shop he lay before. This fellow was simply white, except for the line of red that circled his entire throat and neck. He wasn't just pale, nor was he grayish. He was white as a sheet. He almost looked like a caricature of life. The awful thing about him, that which had surely made Jack so green, was the fact that his eyes remained wide open, and they seemed to mirror an absolute terror. There was a look of such absolute horror in them that he was tempted to turn and try to see what those eyes had envisioned in the final minutes of life.
"God,"
Sean breathed. "Yeah," Pierre agreed. "And you want to know the funny thing?"
"There's something funny here?"
Pierre made a face. "Peculiar, okay? There was no fight."